Thank you very much, Communication Director for the Eastern Region. Good afternoon, friends and the good people of this country. Thank you for coming. This afternoon, the New Patriotic Party seeks to add its voice towards constructive resolution of the situation in Parliament concerning the 2022 budget statements. First, it is necessary to address the tone of a document circulating on the social media titled as a press release and dated November 28, 2021. It has the name of the minority leader in Parliament, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, typed under it. If it is deemed authentic, the document appears on the face of it to advise a way forward on the matter of the 2022 budget. However, deeper reading shows that it is essentially gloating about the number of NDC members of Parliament being able to use the parliamentary numbers to block government business and assumes the right to determine a budget for the government. The document stressed that the current composition of Parliament makes it a hung Parliament, and therefore, to the NDC, the rules of engagement have changed. In seeking to project new rules, the NDC minority seems to determine to move beyond the constitutional rights and duties of a minority caucus as enshrined in the 1992 Constitution and the Standing Orders of Parliament. It is no secret that the minority intended to reject the budget statement as a show of political force. To the minority, the near even number of members in Parliament is an opportunity to obstruct the government financial statement for political embarrassment. The minority NDC could care less if this posture leads to a crisis of payments, including salaries, as long as they believe they look politically good. Advancing their assumed advantage of numbers further, the document being referred to lists a set of demands in the nature of an ultimatum to governments that, in its true intent, could be construed as usurpation of the president's constitutional power to present budget statement to the House. The NDC's attempt to dictate the content of a budget statement from opposition is an assault on the clear provisions of the 1992 Constitution. Article 58 vests executive authority in the President. Per the executive authority, the President is empowered to present the budget under Article 179. Article 93(2) vests legislative power in Parliament, but it does not allocate the right to Parliament to write budgets or to force the hand of the executive in relation to the budget the way the NDC is going about it. Indeed, Article 108 expressly limits the area of financial determination, especially imposition of taxes and expenditure, to the President. The combined effects of parliamentary intervention in respect of taxes may be to seek a reduction. Parliament is not entitled to reject a budgetary tax measure of the executive because it is unreasonable, as the NDC have referred the e-levy. Unreasonableness is not a constitutional or legislative ground for refusal to approve a budget statement. Furthermore, legislative authority to make proposals under Article 103(3) does not extend to proposal in the nature of an imposition of expenditure. That is expressly prohibited by Article 108. Therefore, the NDC ultimatum demanding for explicit inclusion of funds for disaster relief may be overreaching the constitutional authority of the minority in Parliament. These are examples of the havoc that a misuse of the notion of a hung parliament can cause. If indeed the NDC purports to love the republic, as it seems to be saying in its statement, then the best way forward will be to continue with the parliamentary process and consider the budget statement per Standing Order 144 and 5, which gives Parliament enough room to bring forward objections to any provision of the budget within the limits of the Constitution. Otherwise, current posture of the NDC minority caucus is very problematic for constitutional development. On the matter of the e-levy, the New Patriotic Party believes sincerely that it is the most sustainable way forward for boosting public finances at this time. Traditionally, governments have relied on petroleum levies to plug gaps in recurrent expenditure and concessionary loans, as well as grants and commercial loans to fund infrastructure. But experience shows that the petroleum levies do not bring in much relative to the general price inflation that occurs upon imposition. So petroleum levies hurt the economy. Now that the supply chain bottlenecks worldwide are causing petroleum prices to rise, it is not in the interest of Ghana that a levy is imposed on petroleum at this time. Grants and loans do not come in amounts capable of tackling the infrastructure gap with the vigor and consistency required to anchor growth. In plain words, borrowing is not a sustainable, adequate, and consistent way of funding for development of our infrastructure rapidly. Worse, it often comes with long strings attached. Borrowing costs also burden the economy unnecessarily, with debt servicing impeding critical public investment to the extent that, as we speak now, almost 45% of our internally generated income is used to service our debts, both interest payment and principal repayment. This is unsustainable. The e-levy, as proposed, offers the opportunity to break out into a future of self-mobilizing and self-controlled resources. Note that the NDC ultimatum does not seek cancellation of the e-levy. It rather talks about suspension for consultation. So it is clear the NDC appreciates the wisdom of the e-levy, but its posturing for public acclaim rather than biting the bullet. Ghana's growing democratic practice demands that we all ask the NDC of their tax and public funding alternatives. Does the NDC accept that petroleum levies and borrowing are not sustainable? Is the NDC prepared to think outside the box? Which I doubt. What alternatives can they offer the Ghanaian people? These are legitimate questions that we expect the NDC to answer. Ladies and gentlemen, as we previously observed, the innovative approaches to revenue generation adopted by the 2022 budget can lead to major revenue changes for public finances in Ghana if implemented effectively. Public concerns about transparency in the collection and the use of the revenue are what all well-meaning Ghanaians must address. Genuine concerns about implementation gaps can be addressed in the spirit of goodwill. In other words, monies collected in Ghana on the e-levy for infrastructure ought to go to empower the Ghanaian economy to create jobs and further spread the tax net in Ghana. We have a value chain of trained engineers, cost accountants, constructors, who ought to be able to design, construct, and deliver high-quality, big job public infrastructure. We need to have confidence in our own. Ultimately, that is what e-levy is about. The NDC also indicates opposition to the restoration of the benchmark values to the normal levels. What that means is that imported bottled water will continue to be cheaper than locally processed and bottled water in Ghana. Imported machetes will continue to be cheaper than those manufactured in Ghana. Imported iron rods will continue to dominate the market because the locally manufactured iron rods will be more expensive and continue to be more expensive. Fruit juices, pharmaceuticals and cement products, and many other products that are being manufactured in Ghana are far more expensive than imported ones. Manufacturing supports moving from mere taxation of imported finished products to local value addition. Local production creates jobs and incomes. An import-focused economy creates jobs and incomes in other countries, denying our youth of jobs. It also forces our cedi to depreciate as we chase a few dollars on the market to import everything, including pure water and toothpicks. The NPP policy of moving from taxation to production does not mean zero taxation. It means increasing local processing and manufacturing capacity to create more jobs and incomes for our youthful population. When more people are employed in the value addition and production, more people earn incomes that can be taxed at a lower level. That is why we seek to put factories in every district. These factories will add value to our produce, creating thousands of direct and indirect jobs and incomes that can also be taxed. Apart from 1D, 1F, many hardworking Ghanaian entrepreneurs and foreign investors have put money into the Ghanaian economy for production, and their businesses deserve government support. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is promoting light and heavy industry with the start of GIADEC for bauxite processing and GISDEC for iron and steel processing. These are foundational industries for generating processing capacities in any modern economy. That is the NPP's vision to create a productive and self-sufficient economy full of jobs for people. Now, Ghana has an automobile assembly policy that has the capacity to enhance skills, provide jobs, and supply brand new vehicles to the Ghanaian and African market at competitive prices. Yet the NDC says we should undermine all these homegrown policies that can generate jobs and incomes for our youth, and with the continuation of our age-long import economy. As long as we continue to export raw materials for little money and use those money to import expensive finished goods at a lower duty level, we shall continue to struggle with raising revenue to fund development and social services. So politically, it sounds good for the NDC to say no way to the restoration of benchmark values, but ultimately, such a posture is against the industrialization agenda necessary to create jobs. So it is important to ask the NDC what their industrial policy is. Does the NDC have a plan to change the structure of the import-export economy? If so, what is the plan? Ladies and gentlemen, the bottom line is that the NPP won a mandate in 2020 general elections to continue to govern this country according to its manifesto and the record of cumulative achievement in this fourth republic. The party will be resolute in pursuing policies that inure to the long-term benefit of Ghanaians. As often stated by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Koforidua, we are here to make decisions, to further good governance. We are not in government to avoid hard decisions for the sake of political power. That way, power loses credibility because it is disabled from serving the people through interests. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the NPP will continue to offer well-thought-through policies for the good people of Ghana. These policies will generate the much-needed jobs and incomes for our youth. Our policies will continue to provide education for all in need. Our policies will continue to protect and grow the health sector. Our policies will continue to protect and grow the agri sector. Now the NDC must tell us what their alternative is for Ghana. Is it their view that government puts levies on petroleum products? Is it their view that government continues to borrow? Is it their view that we collapse the local manufacturing economy in favor of imports? The NDC must answer these questions to Ghanaians. Sure. We in the New Patriotic Party remain sensitive to the needs of the Ghanaian people and the capacity of Ghanaians to take charge of their own future. It is on this basis that we call on all Ghanaians to support this government's budget, the Ajinkwa budget, for growth and expansion of our economy and for redistribution of taxes in this country. Thank you very much.